Welcome and thank you for joining us for today's DealerOn webinar, the DealerOn Academy Q3 Automotive Marketing Briefing. My name is Amirrezvani and I'll be your moderator today. And today's webinar is being presented by DealerOn. And for anyone who isn't familiar with DealerOn, well, we're an award-winning website development company and digital agency, best known for our amazing SEO, the absolute best customer service, and the highest converting website designs in the industry, including the brand new Chameleon responsive website platform. We're so committed to lead conversion, optimization, and customer service that DealerOn is still the only company in the industry to offer a money-back lead guarantee program. So, does your website company guarantee you a 50% lift in leads or your money back? Well, maybe you should check us out at our gorgeous brand new DealerOn website at DealerOn.com. And we have an incredible show in store for you today. We're very pleased to have members of the DealerOn Executive Team to speak with us today about current automotive marketing updates, industry perspectives, and best practices. This webinar is going to be packed with great information, and it is designed to be an interactive exchange with ample time dedicated to Q&A. So today we have 6 members of the DealerOn leadership team here. We have Amirrezvani. He's the president, CEO, and co-founder of DealerOn. He's responsible for leading and growing the company toward an even brighter future. Jeff Clark is here. He's the executive vice president of business development at DealerOn, and he oversees our OEM, channel, and business development initiatives. Amirrezvani is the co-founder and the executive vice president and has been instrumental in the success and growth of DealerOn. Jason Ezell is head of sales at DealerOn. He's also responsible for all the company's direct sales. Shaun is the vice president of marketing for DealerOn, and he markets DealerOn's capabilities, extending our reach and building the right reputation. And Greg Gifford is our brand new director of search and social. He's responsible for our comprehensive digital strategies that get dealers noticed online. Now, during the presentation, if you have any questions, please use the question feature located on the corner of your screen to submit them. At the end of the presentation, we're going to answer those questions of general interest. If we're unable to get to your question live, we're going to try to respond to you by email later today. Also, don't forget, a link to download a copy of this webinar recording will also be emailed to you later today for your reference, so please feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. Oh, and guess what? Our good friends at AutoHook are sponsoring this week's webinar giveaway. AutoHook is a showroom traffic driver. They have built the ultimate attribution engine, which tracks that customer through the lead, showroom visit, and purchase, and then delivers a cost per sale that's best in the industry. One of you lucky webinar attendees is going to win a $250 e-gift card from AutoHook. You have to be on the live broadcast to win it, though, so stay tuned, and you could be the one walking away with this awesome prize today. Oh, and for more information about AutoHook, you can visit lead2show.com. That's lead with a 2, show.com. Also, at the conclusion of the webinar, you're going to receive a short survey. So fill it out, because we're always looking for great feedback from you, our valued audience. Today, we're going to randomly select a couple of people from all those completed surveys to also win some Google prizes. So let's get started with the DealerOn Academy Q3 Automotive Marketing Briefing. How are you guys? Oh, wait, that's right. Do you tweet much? We want to know what you're saying. Please contact me at Amirrezvani. You can also use at DealerOn and hashtag DealerOnWebby. Now let's get started with DealerOn Academy Q3 Automotive Marketing Briefing. Let's say hi to... Let's say hi to El Jefe. That's right, our big cheese, Amirrezvani first. Ali, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. And we have a lot of people on the webinar today. So we are going to try and make sure that we have everyone in check. And we're actually in many, many different parts of the country today. So I'm very excited about this. And Ali, I know you have a lot to tell our dealers out there today about DealerOn, some new stuff that we have going on, some stuff that's just worked for us just recently, and where we're heading in the future. So if you wouldn't mind, please start us off, sir.
Sure. So to give everyone a little bit of a recap of, what's happened in the first couple quarters of the year, some really exciting stuff. Really proud to announce that as of about 30 days ago, DealerOn has opened up 3 new offices. We opened up a whole new floor here at the corporate office. where, half of the team has moved down there, and it's given us a lot of room for expansion. But, we've added some really cool things downstairs. So, there's a whole fun area. We've got pool table, ping pong table, 4-person stand-up arcade games. We even have a kegerator for after hours for the late night.
Now I'm upset all the way. I'm all the way over here.
So that's at the corporate office, and then we also have opened up a location in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's a pretty small team out there, but we've got 5-6 people currently in that office, and we've also just opened up another office in Dallas, Texas, where our search and social teams are going to be based out of. And, really excited about that. Actually, one of our founders, my brother Amir, has relocated to Texas, and we're really looking at really expanding down there for those teams. Really that's for some of our newer products, which are some of the new things also that we're kind of excited to share, is our new SEO product that we're offering, which is, taking our old service and just taking it to the next level. And we've had some really exciting new additions. We've been really focusing on adding some really awesome talent, and probably over the past 6 months, we really have added an all-star lineup of people. We've really expanded our sales team. We've brought in Pogo Parr, who is now heading the sales team, and he so far has just done a wonderful job bringing in some new talent. We've added, the likes of Barbie Brand to the team, Maura Dieste. We've also brought in Ainsley Zulpo, which has been a huge addition for the team as well. So the sales team is just rocking. Things have been going really, really well. And then also on the SEM side, we've brought in Orko Chatterjee, who has had a pretty long history with the Auto Trader team, and before that with Haystack, and also spent some time with Google. Just a huge addition to the team. And I'd be remiss to also add Greg Gifford, who is managing the search and social teams from Texas, who has just been someone that we've been really going after for quite some time now, and we've been lucky enough to trick him almost to join the team. But he's an awesome addition, so we're really excited about that. But some of the new products, again, is the SEO product. We have our SEM product that we've now been offering, but have really just taken to the next level. So, if you haven't considered DealerOn for your paid search needs, definitely get with one of your account reps, get a demo set up. I think you'll be really amazed with what we have, and they can also kind of talk about the product roadmap there, which is going to be pretty exciting in terms of how we're going to be mixing SEO, SEM, and content to just have a completely dynamic, cohesive system. So we're really excited about that. I don't want to steal all the thunder here, but I guess a couple other things to mention is, as most people know, we've brought on quite a few OEMs in the past 6 months. Some of the more recent would be VW, BMW, Mitsubishi, and Scion. All those programs so far are going really, really well. Some of them are in the very infancy stages, but BMW and VW, we're really excited with the turnout so far, and we're really starting to crank that up. We're also working on a few other OEM initiatives that really can't be announced yet, but definitely more to add in Q3 and Q4 of this year.
That is
I guess
huge.
that kind of wraps it up for just a quick recap.
Whew, that was a lot, Ali. Thank you so much. Wow. Okay, so audience, today what we're going to do is not unlike our Q1 and Q2 Automotive Marketing Briefing. We're really here today to focus on you and your needs. Now, we already have a ton of questions that already came in from you, our wonderful audience. So if you haven't sent in your question yet, and believe me, I don't think there's any question that's off limits, now's the time to send it in. We're just going to get through a ton of your questions today, and hopefully, while we're answering all those questions, we'll be helping you out at the same time. Now, we do have 3 poll questions for you today. We're going to kick it off with our first poll question right now. So please look at your screen and check out this poll question. We want to know, how are you currently handling SEO at your dealership? Please select one of the following answers. We outsource it to our website vendor. We outsource our SEO to a third-party vendor. Oh, we taught Rand Fishkin everything he knows. We do it ourselves in-house. We're not doing anything with SEO. We didn't know we needed to do anything with SEO. Or, yeah, we need help with our SEO. So please select one of those options. Again, the poll question is, how are you currently handling SEO at your dealership? Do you outsource it to your website vendor? Do you outsource it to a third-party vendor? Do you do it in-house? Do you not do it at all? Or you admit you probably need a little bit of help. Whatever the answer is, we want to know. Once we get a majority of those votes in, we're going to close this poll and share the results. And audience, thank you so much already for voting. You guys rock. We totally awesome participation today. Thank you so much. Like I said, we have 2 more poll questions coming your way, and send in those questions, because that's what this entire hour is about, is just helping you try and figure your way through the digital landscape. All right. So audience, thank you so much. We're going to close this poll and share the results, and not what I was expecting to see. Ali and everyone else, check these results out. 43% of today's audience said we outsource it to our website vendor. But additionally, another 43% said that they outsource it to a third-party vendor. So it's evenly split. Now, 9% said they are SEO gurus and they know everything and they do it in-house. And only 4% admitted, yeah, they probably need some help with their SEO. So thank you so much, audience. We're going to have 2 more poll questions coming your way in a little bit. Let's get rid of this one. And I'm going to just make sure we have Jeff Clark on. Jeff, are you still there?
I am still here.
Okay, good. I heard some echoing earlier, so I had to mute you for a little bit. So thank you so much. I'm so glad you guys are here. All right, our first question of the day, let's see who this goes to. Our first question of the day comes from Andy. And Andy says, what is DealerOn's approach to SEO, and how will it benefit dealers? Andy, I am so glad you asked this question, and I'm so very pleased to call upon our brand new Director of Search and Social for this one. He's the perfect one to answer this. Greg Gifford. Where are you, Greg? Are you there?
I am here.
Oh, Greg. Andy here is asking about DealerOn's approach to SEO, and since you are Director of SEO, why don't you take this one for us? Can you help Andy out?
Sure. So how our approach is a little bit different is that we concentrate on local SEO. So you've got traditional SEO, which is what most people do, and then local SEO is a slightly more difficult subset where Google automatically returns local results to certain queries. So this would be restaurants, entertainment, doctors, lawyers, plumbers, electricians, and car dealers. So because of the fact that Google is automatically going to return local results, it's important to go the extra mile and include the extra steps that are needed to do well in local search results. And that's what we do. That's what we concentrate on. And so our SEO team here in Dallas is very well versed in what goes into local SEO, and we do all of the signals that matter. So we're working on both your content on your site and then off-site signals as well. So that's building relevant links. That's also working very heavily with citations, which is mentions of name, address, phone number on other websites. We also do social media, so there are the important social signals that need to be there. And finally, we work with reputation management to make sure that you've got the right review signals out there. And it's also just from a reputation management perspective, helping you get more positive reviews from a user experience perspective that's going to get you more business because people see that you're a great dealership.
I love it. And for any of you who might have missed his epic presentation just a couple weeks ago, Greg Gifford did an entire webinar, and it was, I think, well over an hour and a half. It was really, really incredible. So if you want to go check that out, go to dealeron.com/webinar and click on the link on the right-hand side for on-demand webinars. They're listed with the most recent at the top. This one was only a couple weeks ago, and it is well worth the time investment. It was really, really spectacular, and it was all about SEO, local SEO, and what you should be doing at your dealership to make sure that you are conquering SEO. Thank you so much for that great question. Great answer, Greg. Appreciate it. And Andy, if you have a follow-up question, please send it on in. Okay, gentlemen, your next question comes to you from Kathy. Kathy says, does a responsive website have any SEO advantage to a non-responsive website? Excellent question, Kathy. Ali, you are the one who usually discusses our responsive website platform. Would you mind taking this one? This is for Kathy.
Sure. Kathy, So there's a couple different things to look at there with a responsive site versus an adaptive and a multi-URL site. The short answer is yes, there definitely is a difference SEO benefits, and it stems from a couple different things. One, with a responsive site, you only need to index that website one time. So Google spiders, they only need to go hit each page of that website one time, because with the responsive site, all of the content for every variation, for every screen size, is all on that one file. With the multi-URL and the adaptive sites out there, Google spiders have to actually go and pull up each variation individually for each different device type that you have the content there for. So it makes Google's process much easier, a lot less work for Google spiders to do, and it also keeps our content to be actually a little bit more up to date more often than theirs as well. One of the other big benefits there is that you have virtually, depending upon how the responsive site is set up, you're going to have the same content from one variation to the next. You might have minor differences in terms of some of the content that you're going to pull out, but it also just makes it a lot easier for Google to index that information, because there's not different variations of actual content, verbiage, so on and so forth. Now, because of these things, one of the areas that it's not 100% proven, but Google has got behind responsive websites, and they have recommended it as their primary version that they're pushing all people to, because of its inherent benefits, not only because of the fact that it doesn't require, not to get too technical here, but it doesn't require what's called user agent detection. So it doesn't care about what device type is being used, whereas adaptive and multi-URL sites have to know what device type you have, and then they serve up the right variation of content, which Google claims that to be error-prone because it fails quite often. So that is one of the different things, but Google has got behind trying to push everyone to this variation because that's what they prefer, and it works best with Google's system. And really, I mean, I guess the way that I would say it is this, Google doesn't come out and lay out their algorithm and say, these are all the different things that you need to do to rank. They'll give you some details, but a lot of it is left unclear, and it's left up to people like Greg and some of the, industry's leaders in SEO to run different tests, make changes, and try to identify what they believe, are some of those factors. But I guess my whole point is, whenever Google comes out and publicly says, this is something you should do, for the most part, it's, advice that you'd want to follow. And I can tell you, hands down, when we switched our platform, and obviously there's many factors in this, but when we switched our platform to responsive, we literally have seen over 100% increase in organic search to the mobile sites. So, I mean, if that's any indication, obviously there's a bunch of other factors that go into line there, as there's a bunch of changes to the platform overall. But I guess in that sense, I can say that there's definitely a positive effect SEO-wise.
I love it. And just to be sure, Google did recommend responsive website platforms, correct, over other platforms?
Exactly.
Exactly. Okay. So, Kathy, thank you so much. Great question. If you have a follow-up question, we'd love to hear back from you. All right, gentlemen. Our next question comes to you from Tim. He says, I'm an internet director with a limited budget. If I choose between SEO and SEM, what should I spend my money on first? That is a great question. And Shaun Rains. Shaun, would this be a good question for you to tackle? This is, again, from Tim, an internet director, who wants to know, if he has to choose between SEO and SEM, which one should he spend his money on first?
Sure. Tim, I love you, but I hate the question. And I hate the question because I'm a really big believer in doing both and trying to actually launch them at the same time to let your organic side begin to do what it needs to do, and it takes more time. If you had to pick, and I've never actually had this dialogue with Gifford, and seeing how we're now in the same Dallas office, we're gonna have this conversation right now, live on the DealerOn webinar. So here's my answer to that. I would say if you had to choose, and you need leads, you need traffic, you need people, you need to be in front of the people that are looking for your dealership and all the things that you sell, I would tell you that you need to invest in paid search first, because your general manager or your dealer principal are going to want to see immediate results. And typically they don't understand quite as much of the complexities that go into what Greg just described and how we're taking our SEO services to the next level. There are a lot of moving parts to that. There always really have been moving parts on the organic side. It's not that there are no moving parts for paid search. There are. But the outcome of paid search means that you could spend $500, $1,000, big market, $5,000, $10,000, and see results within a matter of hours. And so to keep it really simple, I would say I would go with paid search first if you have to make a decision so that you'll get the results you're looking for. Because typically if you're asking that question, you know that you need traffic, right? You need traffic at all costs. We need more traffic. Drive traffic to a website that does its job and it converts the traffic. Well, the best way to do that and the fastest way to get results is through paid search. But I wouldn't stay in that strategy exclusively for a long period of time. My recommendation would be to you is to ask for the ability to prove some results in maybe 30 days and then have them open up the wallet a little bit more so that you can start investing in SEO as quickly as possible, because I really believe that about 99.99% of all dealerships should probably be doing both. But Gifford, what do you think?
I think that was the incorrect answer.
You're so going to fight right here. It's going down. UFC.
Really what it comes down to is what your budget is. So if you're asking that question, I have to choose between one and the other. Typically that question comes up because there is a budget limitation and you don't have the dollars to go towards both. So if you've got that budget limitation, that's the next thing we need to look at is, okay, do you have co-op money to spend on this? Is this something that is going to effectively be free for your dealership, or is it something that you're paying for out of your own pocket? And either way, how much money do you have to spend? Because if you only have a couple $1,000s to spend, that's not going to go very far in a competitive market on PPC, but a couple $1,000s a month can go a really long way on organic. And when you're doing PPC, like he said, yes, you do get immediate results, but it is pay to play. So if you have a limited budget, you're going to have limited results. Whereas with organic, sure, it takes a little bit longer to get there, but once you get to where you're ranking at the top of page one, you're there all the time. It's not like you can run out of your daily budget or monthly budget and then disappear for the rest of that period.
It sounds like you're saying that depending on the circumstances, we're both potentially right.
Sort of.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's
do we need to separate you two?
That's a great question. Tim laid down the gauntlet when he asked this question. We do have a follow-up question that came in from John, so if you guys would like to continue this little charade over here. He says, well, how much should I be spending per month on pay-per-click? Is there a formula? So Greg, you said something, and Shaun, you said something, so give your best advice to John and Tim and other people like them who have this little struggle between SEO and SEM.
Well, right now, that almost plays into our hands perfectly. Right now, what DealerOn's doing, and we're going to do it all through the summer, is we'll actually do a complimentary analysis of your paid search. And I think I've got Gifford talked into, he's going to do the same thing for organic. So is that right? Can we actually say that now?
Yep.
Can we publicize that? Okay. So see, we get along. It's cool. And he actually has an alligator head on his desk, so it's a bit intimidating to work with him here in Dallas. But so here's the real deal, John, is we would prefer, because here's some of the truth. Some of the formulas, if you will, on paid search are like carryover BS kind of stuff from the old Overture days. Reach Local used to use this, where they would come up with these kind of fuzzy math calculations on what you should be spending. But that was really more on what they really wanted to be taking from you, more so than really what your market would bear. So the answer is really depending on where your market is and what brand or brands you sell. We need to have more of a consultative approach to what you're doing. So for example, if you're a Toyota dealer and you're in Los Angeles and you know that you've got Longo and Penske, right? You've got $1,500 to spend, you might as well just buy a newspaper ad if you can or something, because $1,500 obviously is going nowhere in a large market with a big brand. So for us, it would be some of that. We would take our existing knowledge, real world knowledge of what dealers are spending today based on brand, based on market. Then we can come up with recommendations. Our SEO is a little bit different, and I think Greg can speak to that. But as far as both sides go, paid search as well as organic, our preference would be to let us give you a complimentary analysis of what you're doing. It'll either help you keep your existing vendor honest. It's not just a pure, hey, to bring your business to DealerOn thing. Certainly we get to learn a lot. It makes us smarter. It helps us serve our existing clients even better than we do today. And we've been learning a lot, so we'll literally do that for you for free if you're interested, and that will give you a real world number. But it's going to come down to what brand you are and what market you're in. Anything else on that, Gifford?
Well, yeah, I mean, the market is huge, because I've had dealerships in the past that I've told them they didn't need to spend money on SEO, because if you're the only Ford dealership in the middle of nowhere in Georgia or Iowa, and there's no other Ford dealership for 300 miles, and there's only maybe 2 or 3 other dealerships in your area at all, then you're going to be on page 1 no matter what, and maybe you don't necessarily need to worry. So it really depends on your market. So that's why you need to let us take a look on both sides, because as far as, what's the optimal amount to spend on PPC, completely different for somebody in Austin and somebody in LA or somebody in Denver. And that's why, just like Shaun said, it's really helpful to take a deeper dive and look at your specific market, your specific brand, and your specific dealership to really get a good number.
I got you. All right, John, I'm sorry they didn't give you an actual number, but you see that there's some extenuating circumstances. So get up on that free SEM analysis, which, by the way, Shaun, Bob says free SEM analysis. What's the catch? So I don't know if there is a catch. Is there a catch?
I don't know who's.
That was Jeff Clark. I had to shut him down again.
Yeah, I've actually, that question's come up a couple of times, because I actually was the one that launched our Facebook ad campaign on the free SEM analysis. It's all of our customers that log into our CMS. They see that message as well. So I've had a lot of people like, what's the catch? There's no catch to it whatsoever. The biggest thing that we really want the market to know is that we went out and assembled a team of, I would argue, maybe the best people out there, whether dealers know who they are or not, we know who they are, and we built a real program for paid search. And we're chasing that business with a vengeance, because we've figured out that there's some ways that it can be done better, and I'll make it really simple, but it has to do with allowing humans to do more effort in conjunction with using the machines, as I like to call them. There have been a lot of vendors and platforms built over the years that rely on heavy automation, which means then you don't have a human being that actually spends a lot of time managing paid search accounts. And the difference is actually made by people that really know how to set up those accounts and that know how to use the automation tools and processes for some better effect. But AdWords itself has grown up so much in the last few years that it's changed so much that a lot of people haven't kept up with it. And so as far as the catch, there's no catch whatsoever. It is completely free. There are, I think, 19. I think Mike and Orko have a 19-step process to this analysis.
Ooh.
It's a real deal thing. It's going to talk to you not just about your upstream kind of metrics that we can see around cost per click or click-through rates, but it's going to get into talking to you about, your impression share and how you're setting up site links, and it's very, very in-depth. And we have already had several conversations with dealers where they're like, wow, I learned a ton of stuff, and you guys just doing kind of this audit for me. It'll do one or two things, and so that's where I'm going to be really honest. It's either going to, because it's done this for a lot of dealers, it's either going to make you say, holy, you know what, DealerOn, I need to look at you guys potentially for this business because you're doing it different than anybody else in the industry. Or number two, it's going to give you some great intelligence to work with your existing vendor, or if you're doing it yourself. But there is no catch. It's completely free. So you do not have to buy a single thing from us for us to offer you that service.
Wow. All right. Well, you know what? Since we're on the subject of SEM, I say we go to our second poll question. And audience, it's up on the screen now. We'd love it if you take a few seconds to read it and answer this question for us. We want to know, how are you currently handling SEM at your dealership? Please select one of the following answers. Do you outsource it to a website vendor? Do you outsource it to a third-party vendor? Google AdWords is all we need, so we do it in-house. SEM, yeah, we're not doing that. Or you know what? SEM, you would consider it if someone could prove that it would be valuable and have a high ROI. So whatever the answer is, we want to know, how are you currently handling SEM at your dealership? We outsource it to a website vendor. We outsource it to a third-party vendor. Google AdWords, we rocket that, so we do it in-house. We're not doing SEM. Or we would consider it if somebody could prove its value. So once we get a majority of those votes in, we're going to close this poll and share the results and then get back to your questions. And audience, if you haven't gotten your question in yet, well, we only have about a half hour or so left in this webinar. So please get your questions in. We're going to get to those in just a moment. All right, audience, you guys rock. Look at this great audience response we have here. We're going to close this poll and share the results. And yes, you have one more poll question coming your way in just a bit. So, gentlemen, I want you to know that today's audience, 37% of today's audience said that they outsource their SEM to their website vendor. 47% of today's audience, the majority, said that they outsource it to a third-party vendor. 11% of today's audience said, hey, they rock at Google AdWords and they do it in-house. And the remaining 5% of today's audience said they are not doing SEM yet. There you go. Now, no one picked the last answer, but audience, thank you so much for your answers to that question. We do appreciate it. And now we are back to, I do want to get to this question. Joshua, well, two people actually. Joshua wrote and he says, I definitely want that SEO analysis. And he put a lot of exclamation marks on that. And then we also have Christy who said, you're offering a free SEO analysis? So yes, Christy, and yes, Joshua. So my question to Shaun or Greg, I don't know who to send this to, is how does somebody get that free SEO analysis?
All they have to do is ask.
Well, there you go, audience. Whom do they ask?
Have them just shoot me an email. It's ggifford@dealeron.com.
Okay, great. And for the SEM analysis, how do they get a hold of that?
Shaun, SHAUN, @dealeron.com.
All right, audience, you heard it. For the SEM analysis, get a hold of Shaun Rains at SHAUN@dealeron.com. And for the SEO analysis, then you want to reach out to Greg Gifford at ggifford@dealeron.com. And for both, looks like you're writing 2 emails, my friends. All right, let's keep going. Stacy, I remember you being on the show. Stacy wrote in. She said, I saw Greg Gifford's recent webinar on local SEO. And he mentioned citation management. What are citations and how do I manage them? Greg Gifford, can you help out Stacy?
Sure. Citations are mentions of your dealership name, address, and phone number on other websites. So not your own website, but other different websites. So typically that's going to be directory listings. That's what's called a structured citation. But you also have unstructured citations, which could be if someone were to write a blog post about you or a news article were to be written about you. So it's not just a structured list of only name, address, phone number. It's more long-form content that includes that information. And what's really important when it comes to local SEO is that your citations are 100% consistent. That means your dealership name and your address and your phone number need to be the same everywhere that they appear online. So as far as citation management, that's just either having your SEO provider that understands local SEO work on those for you, or if you're doing it internally, that's working on those citations, making sure that all of them are consistent and correct. And as time goes by, you continually check on those, make sure that they all stay the same, and also make sure that you're getting the correct ones moving forward for your specific vertical. So, for instance, there's some citations that car dealers would need that doctors or lawyers wouldn't need. So it's important that you get the right citations and send the right signals to Google so that you'll show up higher in those local search results.
Thank you so much, Greg. Stacy, great question. And if you have a follow-up question, we're right here for you. So right back on in. I do want to point out this great comment that Martin made Hi, Martin. How you doing? Martin wrote in, he said, when we were talking about SEO, he says, I recommend to have SEO as a part of your monthly ongoing fixed spend in your budget, such as your website, CRM, etc. I love that idea, Martin. That's a great idea. Thank you so much for that. All right. Let's get to this next question that came in from Michael. It's a pretty long question, so let's see. As a recent past LT dealer and GM found and still experience today that by far a huge percent of the general manager's decision makers do not have a clue what the primary differentiation and benefit of responsive technology affords in value and customer experience versus adaptive. Okay, thank you, Michael. All right, Ali, I'm going to call on you again, sir. It looks like Michael believes that there's a lot of general managers out there who do not quite understand the difference or the benefits of responsive technology versus adaptive or any other kind of website platform. Ali, could you maybe help Michael out?
Sure. Well, I guess I should first describe, there's currently to date, there's 3 different platforms out there. The first platform, and what pretty much everyone was on about 2 to 3 years ago, once we actually had mobile websites, is what's called a multi-URL site. So you had at least 2 URLs. You had your regular website URL, and then you might have had a mobile variation, which would have been m.yourdomain.com or yourdomain/mobile or Mobi. So that's the multi-URL sites. Then the adaptive sites, then after we had those, let's just say, website providers came to a point where they had to make a decision. Did they go to what's called an adaptive website, or did they move to a responsive website? Switching to responsive versus adaptive had about 10 times the amount of cost for a website provider, because basically everything has to be rebuilt. Your entire platform, your entire back end, the way everything is done, the way content editing and management is done. Then you have to go back and rebuild all the websites. So for a website provider to make the gamble to say responsive is the way of the future, they must have really been behind it to go that route because of the huge additional cost. The other option was to go adaptive. And adaptive is very similar to the multi-URL sites. The big difference between the two is that it's one URL. So with multi-URL, you had multiple URLs for the mobile variation, maybe for the desktop, and some even had a tablet variation. To switch to adaptive, they still have all 3 variations. They still have to be managed independently. It's all based on someone trying to access your website, what we talked about earlier, which is the JavaScript, which is the user, basically the system that identifies what device type runs, and then it decides which variation to display. So on multi-URL, it goes to that URL. On adaptive, the only real difference is that it's on one URL. But it still has different content variations that have to be served up based on identifying what the device type is. And then responsive, it's one URL, but the content is one and the same. So with the one set of code, the system knows exactly how to expand or contract the screen based on the size of the screen. So if it's mobile, if it's a wearable device, if it's a huge screen, it automatically knows what to do in that one variation. So that's basically the differences in the technologies. Now the benefits are a bunch of different variations that are going to stem from, really 4 topics, and I don't know if I'm going too deep here, but they benefit from SEO benefits, conversion benefits, to what would be some of the other ones, to management benefits in terms of, overall cost of managing one platform over the rest, because there's a lot more work to be done with the multi-URL and adaptive sites, as again, you're managing multiple different variations of content independently. And then also, one of the other benefits with responsive is that it will continue to evolve as technology evolves much easier than the other platforms. But really, to go through it in depth, I need about a half hour to break it all down for you. But just know that there's 4 major benefits. And the two biggest ones are you're going to have SEO benefits and you're going to have huge conversion benefits based on having it down to one URL, one system, lower bounce rates. You don't have the scenario where the device type isn't automatically detected properly, which tends to fail anywhere between 8 to 12% of the time, and then you end up serving up a wrong variation of content to a user who's on a mobile device sees your desktop device. That's going to greatly decrease your, your ability to interact with the website, which will increase your bounce rate and ultimately reduces the conversion rate. I know that was a very long-winded variation to describe it, but hopefully that somewhat answers your question.
Well, actually, it spurred on a few more questions from our attendee, Michael. He says he is currently with another website company who still uses Adaptive. I'm sure we can guess who that is. So he said, what is a simple presentation or thing or something that he can tell a GM to show them that we definitely need to be with responsive?
There's probably a couple different videos that I can find online to send over that it's about a 2 to 3, maybe 4-minute with visuals that'll make it easier to understand that I can find and send over to you. There's a few different articles that will kind of describe it. Or if you want, I can jump into, in our sales deck we have for people that really want to know the difference, we probably have about 8 different slides that cover it in depth so you can see the exact differences, what the pros and cons are. So any one of those options I'd be happy to provide, either send over a few links or happy to take them through a quick presentation. It'll be a lot easier to be able to break down, visually.
Okay. Michael, thank you so much for all the great questions. And Ali, fantastic answers. Thank you so much. All right. Next question. Oh, I want to get to this one. Greg, I think we might be going back to you. Kinney wrote in, who do you recommend for citation management? We just signed on with DealerOn, and I want to make sure that is correctly in place and taken care of. Greg?
I would recommend that you use DealerOn's SEO service for your citation management.
Well, that's an excellent idea.
Citation management is included in our SEO package, so that's definitely the best way to go because, as with anything, it's not like one piece of the puzzle is going to show you the whole picture. So with SEO, yeah, citations are important, but a lot of other things are important as well, so you don't want to just concentrate on your citations, which is why I would suggest you use us. Obviously, if you've got your own team in place and you're just needing help with that one piece of the pie, it really depends on how bad your situation is. So a lot of dealerships will outgrow their location and move locations, and they don't realize they need to go update all their citations. So instead of just having your one list of all of your address and phone number information out there, you now have 2 versions of everything because you've got the old address and the new address. Or you have dealerships that have been doing call tracking for a long time, and every time they switch call tracking providers, they get a whole new bank of numbers. So there could be 15 or 16 different possible listing variations out there due to the phone number switches. So if you've got a really messy situation like that, you're definitely going to need to get someone to help you. It's going to be very hard to do it internally. But if your dealership has been in the same location with the same phone number forever and you don't have call tracking numbers mucking up everything, then you probably can handle it with your own team, and you would just need to use some of the tools out there. Like Moz Local has a free tool to check the top 15 citation sources. That's a really good one. And then there are several services that let you check all of your citations. We prefer WhiteSpark ourselves, so that's what I always recommend for people to use. There's another tool out there called Bright Local. There's another tool out there called Local Site Submit. So all 3 of those are all very good at detecting your citations and checking what's available and giving you ideas for other places that you might go get potential citations that will help you. But like I said, I prefer WhiteSpark. I think it has the best data and finds the most opportunities of anybody out there.
Kenny says, thank you. I'm going to get with my DealerOn sales rep. Thank you so much, Kenny. I'm glad we could help you out. Great answer, Greg. Thank you so much.
Hey, I think we also need to say, hey, thanks, Kenny. We really appreciate the business. I'll tell you, this is Shaun, guys. Kenny has actually reached out to me on Facebook because he knows I'm Jeep shopping, and I am not kidding. The guy is absolutely thorough and super professional. He shoots great personalized video. So
nice.
I'm just telling you, it is not lost on me when I meet customers of ours that are doing just amazing work. I just like to pay it forward, so that guy's legit. So I'm glad you're on the call, Kenny, and thanks for chiming in. We appreciate your business.
He says, I appreciate the shout out, Shaun. Kenny, thank you so much. All right, let's get to our next question from Jennifer. Jennifer wrote in, has DealerOn experienced any issues since Google's big mobile update back in April? I got to go with El Jefe on this one. Ali, has DealerOn experienced any issues with Google's?
Not at all. We, we were thankfully with that whole update, we were somewhat ahead of the curve because Google was very kind to give you a heads up. A good, I think, almost. I'm not sure if I'm mistaken here, and Greg, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was almost 60 days prior to that update coming out, we were pretty much notified that it's coming, and there was a bunch of different resources that we were able to look at to be able to identify not only for the new, but also our older platform, what sort of changes, if any, that we needed to make. For the new platform, pretty much everything, our responsive platform was fine. The older platform, as we still have some of our customers on that, that were in process of still migrating, there were a handful of different changes and updates that we had to make, but we're basically haven't had issues because of that. So we're just thankful that we had that heads up so many days out.
No, that's wonderful. All right, Jennifer, if you have a follow-up question, please let me know. Shaun, did you have anything to add there? Anything else about mobile issues or anything else?
Well, I don't think I would necessarily have anything to add other than some of the things that we've mentioned to our customers before, and it's a good idea, is if you're not on even if you are on older technology and not on responsive, it's a really good idea to go and use some of the free tools like Google's mobility testing tool. Look at your Google Analytics from a mobile perspective, both also with tablet in terms of bounce rate, conversion performance, see if there's anything there that jumps out at you. And then Google's site speed tester. You definitely want to look at some of your load times, especially on the mobile side, as it relates to that update. Fortunately, as Ali already mentioned, we didn't see a lot of repercussions really from that. It was really actually smoother than we anticipated. And I think, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we were a digital dealer when that happened. Is
yes,
that what
we were. I remember.
We were, and actually one thing, Shaun, to add to that is that, one of the things that we definitely recommend is for anyone who does have an adaptive site or a multi-URL site, even if you have a responsive site, because there's many different ways one can do responsive, and there's a right way and a wrong way, but definitely check your Google Analytics to see any changes that you see there, because we've had customers, that are using one service or another of ours who we've heard and have actually seen from their Google Analytics where their mobile traffic has dropped dramatically. So that's one thing that you would want to look at, but it's pretty easy to detect, and if anyone has any questions or concerns about that, feel free to give us a ring. Even if you're not a customer, we'd be happy to kind of walk you through that as well.
That's great. And those free tools from Google, are they easy to find? You mentioned the Google Site Speed Tester and stuff like that. Easy to find?
They are, yeah. Just do simple Google searches on the Site Speed Tester, their mobility testing tool, and analytics. If you don't know how to get into your analytics, just call us. We probably need to educate you tremendously, which we're happy to do.
All right. Let's check out our last poll question, then we're going to get to some of our final questions from the audience. So audience, this is your third and final poll question. Yes, it's on the screen now. We'd love to see what you have to say. We want to know, what topics would you like to see DealerOn cover more on our webinars? This one obviously is from me. I want to know what really, really interests you, because we're always here. We're always trying to look for the best presenters and the most relevant topics. So we want to know, what is it you really, really want to know about? Please select one of the following options. Are you interested in conversion strategies, SEO, digital marketing, which also is, search engine marketing, display, retargeting, all that kind of stuff? Would you like to know more about internet processes, or is fixed ops where it's really at? Is that where you feel like you need the help? And Chris, I see you. You wrote in analytics. It's not on my list, but thank you. I do agree. I think we should do some more webinars about analytics as well, so I will take that and write that down as well. And the votes are still coming in, so audience, thank you so much. We don't have much time left on this webinar, and I still have a handful of questions left. So if you haven't gotten your question in yet, now's a great time to do that. You definitely should do that. And we still have a prize to give away as well. So I hope you guys have been paying attention, and we're going to get to that prize question soon as well. All right, audience, we're going to close out this poll question. And, Peter wrote in, what about marketing or consumer analytics? Thank you so much for that as well. So yeah, I guess we should do a webinar about analytics. Make sure Chris knows that. All right, fellas? Chris Deringer is our resident analytics. Oh my gosh, he is just spectacular when it comes to analytics. Okay, let's close out this poll question and share the results. 41% of today's audience said they want to know about conversion strategies. That is the majority. Conversion strategies. 9% said they need more information about SEO. 27% of today's audience says digital marketing is where they need the help. 14% of today's audience said they want to know more about internet processes. And the remaining 9% said fixed ops is a webinar topic that they would like to see. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating in all of our poll questions. We really appreciate the feedback. And now that we have that information, let's get back to some more questions from you. All right. Gentlemen, your next question comes to you from Bruce. Bruce says, has the reputation management tool that you talked about on the last roundtable webinar gone live yet? Aha! So, who should I send this over to? I guess Greg. Greg, do you have any plans for a reputation management tool at DealerOn?
Why don't I jump in here? This is Amir. Bruce, how are you? Always glad to have you on the webinar. Always appreciate the input and the feedback. And
hi, Amir.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, good. You sound a little far away. Is there any way you could get closer to the microphone?
Yeah, sure. How's that sound?
Getting better. I want to make sure I hear this. What are we doing about reputation management over at DealerOn?
So we've got a couple of dealerships successfully through the first phase of our beta process. The initial results seem great. We're waiting to just aggregate more and more reviews, both on the website and on third-party sites, directories such as Yelp and Google and Cars.com and Edmunds. And once we can really empirically quantify the results that it generates, both from a user experience standpoint and how it assists conversions, also from an SEO standpoint, if we can begin to really see the fruits of our labor from that, we will make it available to the general public and our very exclusive customer base. So we are very interested in possibly looking at some volunteers that may want to add to this beta program. Bruce, if that's something you'd be interested in, we could definitely talk afterwards. But when it's up and running and all the kinks and bugs have been worked out, we will do a specific webinar revolving around reputation management, and hope that all of you can attend.
I love it. Amir, don't go anywhere. Stay right there. By the way, Bruce wrote back in, I'm your huckleberry. Bruce, I love that saying, by the way. And Joshua also wrote in, he's like, I am totally up for a beta. So we already have some people raising their hands. They definitely want to get in on that reputation management stuff. So Amir, don't go anywhere, because I actually have another question for you. By the way, great question, Bruce. Thank you so much. Let me know if you have another one. This next question comes to you from Steve. He says, what website add-ons, if any, do you recommend dealers should be using? That's from Steve.
Steve, great question, and I like this topic a lot because I'm pretty passionate about what should go on a website and what shouldn't, what helps users have a better experience, and what becomes more of a distraction than anything else. And there's no checklist of tools that I can give you that says these belong on a website and these don't. But what I would ask you to do is put yourself in the consumer's shoes and ask this question. Is this website add-on providing additional value to my customers that's useful, that they can't find anywhere else? And if so, then that's probably something you want to offer and put in a prominent position on your website. But if it goes to adding additional distraction, if it disrupts the user experience, if it slows down the website, which is a really, really hot topic right now with all of these website add-ons that are in the marketplace today, what are those JavaScripts doing to your page load times on a mobile device? Actually, as of recently at DealerOn, certain companies, we are now putting restrictions on who will allow to add third-party code to our website and who we won't, because many times it could be at a huge detriment to the customer's overall user experience if it slows the website page load by even a fraction of a second.
Agreed. Great answer, Amir. Thank you so much. Steve, if you have a follow-up question, you better hurry up and get it to me. We're just going to get to these last 3 questions that we have, and then we'll be closing out the show right after we give away a prize, of course. Okay, next question, gentlemen, comes from Kevin. He says, what is the most important thing for dealers to be focused on regarding website design? Geez Louise, I don't even know who to throw this to. Amir, since I have you here, do you want to start that off? I mean, I know you talked about, you know, load time and how quick the website responds, and of course, you know, your calls to action have to be in. But what do you feel is the most important thing for dealers to be focused on regarding website design?
Really, I would adopt and it's probably cliche, and you hear this everywhere, but I would start to very seriously begin to adopt a true mobile-first thought process when you're looking at your website and your website design. Let's not come up with decisions specifically for your desktop users and then find a you know, an appropriate mobile variation of that. Let's think of how will this help consumers quicker, faster, with less clicks, less interaction, navigate and find what they're looking for on a mobile device, and then decide how will that affect the desktop experience. So things that I would look at is how can you minimize the number of clicks it takes for somebody to arrive at your inventory? What widgets, what tools, what calls to action could enable that process? Also, be very cognizant of the fact, regardless how great of a conversion optimization strategist you are just not going to get people excited about filling out forms on a mobile device. So if you notice low conversion rates from your customers on a mobile device, it's not that they're not qualified customers, because arguably they are the most qualified customers. It's the fact that they would much rather call you from a mobile device or just click through your inventory and get directions to your location through a mobile device than they would entering, you know, long form name, email address, and phone number. So keep that in mind, and I hope those were some useful tidbits. And if you want to talk deeper about this, as always, I can be reached at amir@dealeron.com.
I love it. Now, Ali, did you have anything to add to that, or you liked Amir? I mean, I thought Amir had a great answer, but did you have a different answer? What dealers should be focused on regarding website design?
I always love to contradict my brother, but no, I think you did a great job. But Jason would like to actually jump in and give you his 2 cents.
Jason Ezell, I was wondering when I was going to get to hear the sultry tones from you. How are you today, sir?
Fantastic, Elena. Thanks. I've been dying to. It's hard for me to bite my lip, as you know, and not talk. So I've got a bloody lip from sitting here quiet.
No. You lay it on us, babe. Tell us, what should dealers be focused on regarding website design?
Yeah, real quick. I've done several site evaluations in the past week with some dealers asking the same question. And the main thing to keep in mind, the one stat that I like to put out there first, is 76% of all the traffic coming to your website are there for one purpose, and that's to find a specific car. And when I say specific, it's year, make, model, color. Color is now more of a search criteria than even trim level. So when you're looking at your homepage design, we always try to represent every revenue stream, every department we can, all the value proposition on the homepage, when realistically you want that homepage to represent the bulk of your traffic. So 76% of people are looking for a specific car. My recommendation is 76% of that homepage needs to be dedicated to finding a car quickly and easily, much to Amir's point, the fewest number of clicks, using rollover technology for your first click. Being able to search by body type is very important for consumers, but we need to get them into inventory. And the more ways you have to search inventory from the homepage, the higher your lead output. There's a direct correlation between homepage searchability and lead output. So I urge dealers to look at their homepage mainly as inventory display and inventory search, and not be as concerned about trying to represent all revenue departments on the homepage, because we want to appeal to that 76% of people trying to find that specific car. So that's the rule of thumb that I like to use for website design.
I love it. I don't think anyone could contradict that either. So thank you so much for that answer. I don't know.
Can I jump in with something real quick?
I was just going to say, does anyone else have anything else to add? Yes, absolutely. Please.
My kind of credo here is, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. Dealers have historically loved the next big shiny bells and whistles that they can get. You know, back in the day when we had Flash, everybody wanted a really cool Flash intro to their site, or a really cool splash page with all this flashy animation and stuff, but it didn't really serve any purpose from a user experience. And kind of today's new Flash is these background full screen video images that everybody loves to put in there. And you know what? While they might look kind of cool, it doesn't do anything for your customers. It adds zero value from a user perspective, and it slows your website down drastically, which is going to hurt you in your conversions. So make sure that when you're making design decisions on your site, that you're making well-informed decisions, and you're not just going for something that's a cool, shiny object.
But it looks so cool, Greg.
But it doesn't convert.
Okay, not the cool shiny objects, but the ones that work and won't drag your website down. Got it. All right. Anyone else before we get to one of our last questions? And then we have to give away a prize? No? Okay.
I think
Let's go. Next question, last question really, before we have a comment. Tanya wrote in, link building, yes or no, and why? So Shaun, Greg, don't know if you guys have differing opinions on this, but Greg, I know you talked about this during your webinar a couple weeks ago about link building. So why don't you refresh Tanya's memory and everyone else about your view on link building?
You want to build huge link farms in other countries like Russia, Korea, as many as you put. I'm just kidding.
I was like, who is that?
Links are still an important part of Google's algorithm, but you don't really want to think of it as building links. You should think of it as earning links. You should be getting links to your website because you have an awesome website and an awesome user experience. You don't want to get links just because you're calling up your buddy and saying, hey, put a link to my site on your site. And it's important that these links are relevant links. So if you've got an SEO provider that's doing some link building for you, make sure they're getting links from relevant websites that have a reason to link to a car dealership. And also make sure that you're building local links as well. So it's important to get links from other local businesses to prove local relevancy.
That's it? It sounds so easy. Is it easy?
It's actually the hardest part of SEO.
Yeah.
Darn it! It
very
sounded easy.
It's very difficult. It's very time-consuming. It's very tedious. But unfortunately, it's a necessary evil. I would definitely suggest, if you're a dealership, unless you have a very educated person on staff that knows a lot about SEO, you probably want to have a third party do it for you, because if you do it the wrong way, you're going to get penalized, and it's going to make your site get completely blocked from any Google search results, and that's obviously very bad for business.
Yes, it is.
And I would just comment on that real quick. be very, very careful of the third party that you select to do link building for you. In my opinion, from what I've seen, most that do it do not do it right and actually are putting you in jeopardy. So that's something you want to be very, very careful of, and just make sure that you know what you're getting into. We've had way too many dealers have issues due to some link building that has been done through, certain automotive companies and outside of automotive. So, definitely something you want to be very careful of.
Well, is link building something that you have to specifically go out and find a vendor for, or is that normally included in SEO when you have a vendor who does SEO for you?
Well, if they're doing legitimate SEO, it should be included in the SEO, but there are vendors out there that either don't include it, or the ones that do include it, like you said, don't do it the right way. Back before the Penguin update, it was strictly a numbers game, so whoever had the most links won, and it doesn't work that way anymore. But a lot of vendors haven't updated their strategy, so they just go out and go get as many links as they can from any source that they can, and unfortunately that's getting a lot of dealers penalized now.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you so much. Great question, Tanya. All right. That was our last question. The last thing I have for you is actually a statement from Michael, different Michael, who was asking questions earlier. So, Michael, I want to thank you in advance for this before I read this to the gentleman. Michael is apparently is with an Acura dealership, because he says Acura is supposedly looking into website vendors to offer its dealers. Currently, it's offering this website company, which is horrible, and this other website company, which is awful, and those are our only two choices. Earlier this year at a DAB meeting, they said they would be looking into approving another vendor. DealerOn needs to make sure that Acura considers them. I have already forwarded the press release of your most recent manufacturer approval. You are so much better than any of those others in so many ways. I really hope you can get it. So thank you so much, Michael. Hey, are we working on that? I guess I can't say. Okay. Thank you so much for that great comment, Michael. Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, Michael.
I want to let everyone know, if you've ever wondered, hey, I wonder if I could see that webinar again. Yes, we keep all the recordings. So all you have to do is go to DealerOn.com, and then see right up at the top, it says webinar. You click on that, and it takes you to our webinar page, and you can check out any of our upcoming webinars. But you can also go into our archives by clicking on the on-demand webinars link. And from there, you can see all of our past webinars, read up about them, pick it out by your by the presenter, or maybe look for a title that really speaks to you. You can read the description of it, and yes, you can watch it right through there. All of them are on there, all of them. So, oh yeah, there you go. See, view recent webinars. So you click on that, and you're ready to go. So thank you so much. We love, love, love having you here, but it is that time. So I know you've been hanging around. It's that time. If you missed it at the beginning of the webinar, I announced that our good friends at AutoHook, they're sponsoring this week's webinar giveaway. That's right. AutoHook is a showroom traffic driver. They've built the ultimate attribution engine, which tracks that customer through the lead showroom visit and purchase, and then delivers a cost per sale that's best in the industry. And it looks like Shaun is going crazy over here trying to find the right slide. There you go. One of you lucky webinar attendees is going to win a $250 e-gift card from AutoHook. So now's your chance. Get ready. Get to your keyboards. The first one to write in the correct response to the giveaway question is going to be winning this awesome prize today. And yes, if you're a vendor, we love having you on our DealerOn webinars, but this particular prize is for dealership personnel only. So please sit this one out. We do appreciate you, though. All right, here we go. Good luck, everyone. This is a three-part answer we're looking for. The question is, DealerOn has offices in 3 states. Name the 3 states. Good luck, everyone. What are the 3 states that DealerOn has offices in? Hello, is this thing on? Hello. Oh, so close. If you didn't get it, keep trying. It looks like people know 2 out of the 3. Oh, do we have a winner? Wait a minute. Let's see. No. Hey, yeah, that's it. Oh my gosh, Peter Lee, you are our winner today. You were the first person to write in the correct response of Maryland, Michigan, and Texas. Peter Lee, congratulations, dude. You are the winner of a $250 e-gift card from AutoHook. And Peter, I don't want to, this is just in time for the holiday weekend, by the way, because let me tell you, AutoHook is so cool. They're actually going to send it to you like within the hour. You will get this e-gift card through your email. It is like the coolest thing ever. So, Peter, congratulations. Yes, yes, yes.
Fireworks and booze.
Woo, it's so cool. All right, Peter, congratulations. Hey, Peter, write on in and let me know what dealership you're from so we can give you a proper congratulations. Of course, audience, thank you for playing along. You know what? Don't worry about this. We give away cool prizes every single week, so just try again next week, all right? And huge congratulations, of course, to today's winner, Peter Lee. And of course, we want to thank our good friends at AutoHook for their incredible generosity. And for more information about AutoHook, you can check out lead2show.com. That is lead with a number 2 show.com. All right. And Jim Coleman Toyota is where Peter Lee is from. So congratulations, Peter. Thank you so much for being here today. And look at that. You come to a DealerOn webinar, you leave $250 richer. How awesome is that? Of course, we want to thank all of the members of the DealerOn Executive Team who joined us today. Ali Amirrezvani, Amirrezvani, Jason Ezell, Jeff Clark, Shaun Rains, and Greg Gifford. You guys were awesome. You guys rocked that. It was a fantastic presentation. We're already getting people who are writing in saying that. And, of course, I want to remind our audience that a link to download a copy of today's webinar recording is going to be emailed to you later today for your reference. So please share it with your friends and colleagues. It was a great one today. Today's webinar is also going to be posted online within 24 hours. Just go to dealeron.com/webinar to view our upcoming webinar schedule or access any of our past webinars too. And yeah, when this webinar concludes in just a moment, you're going to receive a short survey. We need you to fill that out. We're always looking for your feedback. We want to know what you thought of today's presentation. Today, we're going to randomly select a couple of people from all the completed surveys to also win some Google prizes. And yeah, invitations will be going out tomorrow for our next DealerOn webinar. How to stop showrooming and sell more cars. Fact. Your customers are shopping your competitors right from your lot. Oh, no, it's true. Over 60% of your dealership visitors are using their smartphones to compare your prices with your competition. And when you see this, know that 2/3 of these car shoppers are going to leave your dealership to visit another store within one day. This is called showrooming. And over the last few years, as mobile usage has become an increasingly integral part of the car buying process, showrooming has also become an increasingly pervasive problem in the automotive industry. More than ever, dealers need a comprehensive mobile strategy to stop showrooming and stay ahead of the competition. Do you want to know how to stop showrooming and sell more cars? Of course you do. In this exciting 1-hour webinar, auto industry expert David Metter will discuss how to combat showrooming using readily available technology and proven mobile strategies. His unparalleled experience, insight, and methodology are sure to bring swift and dramatic results for your dealership so that you can reduce the effects of showrooming immediately. If you're ready to learn how to stop showrooming and sell more cars, then this simply cannot be a webinar that you miss. So don't forget, DealerOn's weekly webinars are held Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions regarding these webinars and our topics, please feel free to contact me directly. Again, my name is Eliana Radjo. I'd love to hear from you, so track me down online. Facebook, Twitter, Google+. I'm on all the automotive social networks, or just email me directly at eliana@dealeron.com. Thank you all so very much for spending this time with us today, and I hope to see you all on another webinar in DealerOn's continuing education series. Take care. All right, fellas, you can all say goodbye now.
See you later. Thanks for coming.
Bye, everyone.
Happy 4th.
Congratulations, Peter.